32 missiles, 4,700 American sailors, 3 minutes, 40 seconds to live or die. When Iran pulled the trigger that afternoon, they didn't start a battle. They started a countdown on their own destruction. 32 minutes. That's how long it would take to transform their perfect ambush into total catastrophe, to turn 2 decades of coastal defenses into smoking craters, to prove that firing at an American carrier isn't an act of war, it's an act of suicide with a stopwatch attached. This is what happened when the clock started running. The USS Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group entered the Strait of Hormuz at 7:45 a.m. Nuclear-powered, 95 aircraft on deck, 4,700 souls aboard. Routine passage through the most dangerous 21 miles of water on Earth, the choke point where 18% of the world's oil flows every day. Iran owns the northern shore and has spent 2 decades fortifying it with missile batteries and radar stations, constantly threatening to close this artery and strangle the global economy. Threats are cheap. Action has a price. 5 warships moved with Roosevelt through international waters, 3 Arleigh Burke destroyers, 2 Ticonderoga cruisers, 4,700 sailors, billions in hardware, all gliding through waters Iran calls its backyard. By 11:15 a.m., Iranian coastal radar was tracking them. Standard procedure. Iran always watches American ships pass through. Captain James Chen on Roosevelt's bridge logged it. Routine harassment. Nothing unusual yet. Everything changed at 1:52 p.m. U.S. signals intelligence picked up encrypted Iranian communications, multiple Revolutionary Guard units coordinating, transmissions between coastal batteries and command centers in Bandar Abbas. One phrase made analysts go cold: package delivery authorized for afternoon transit. That wasn't monitoring language. That was weapons clearance. Something was coming. At 2:18 p.m., 7 Iranian coastal missile batteries along 85 kilometers of coastline went to elevated alert. Radar active, launch systems powered. The electronic signature screamed hostile intent. U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain flashed the warning across all frequencies. Captain Chen didn't hesitate. All ships, general quarters, Air Defense Condition 1. This is not a drill. Iranian missiles may be incoming. Alarm klaxons shrieked through 5 warships. 4,700 sailors sprinted to battle stations. 3 destroyers and 2 cruisers activated their defense systems, scanning the entire sky, tracking hundreds of potential threats simultaneously. The most powerful air defense radars on Earth went hunting. At 2:47 p.m., Iranian Revolutionary Guard Command issued final authorization. All coastal batteries target the aircraft carrier. Simultaneous launch on my mark. 3, 2, 1, fire. 32 C-802 anti-ship missiles erupted from 7 Iranian coastal batteries, supersonic, sea-skimming, each carrying a warhead designed to punch through naval armor and detonate inside a ship's hull. All 32 converging on one target from multiple angles, saturation attack, designed to overwhelm any defense. Flight time to carrier, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. In the Iranian command bunker, officers watched their screens and believed they were about to sink an American carrier. 12 seconds. That's how long it took for USS Port Royal's radar to detect the launches, identify them, classify them, and engage. The automated alert screamed across all frequencies: "Vampire! Vampire! Vampire!" Multiple inbound anti-ship missiles. All units engage. Captain Chen's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Brace for impact. All defensive systems engage. No panic, no hesitation. This was the moment everything was built for. 3 destroyers and 2 cruisers began launching interceptors. The sky filled with contrails as American missiles raced to meet the Iranian threat. 90 kilometers out, the long-range interceptors engaged first. The first Iranian missile exploded in mid-flight. Brilliant fireball on the horizon. Then the second, third, fourth, fifth. The Iranians had launched 32 missiles. The Americans were erasing them one by one. 70 kilometers out, the next wave of interceptors joined the fight, creating a layered network that methodically shredded incoming threats. 6th through 12th Iranian missiles destroyed, but 20 missiles were still screaming toward Roosevelt at Mach 0.9, hugging the wave tops, sea-skimming demons racing toward 4,700 American lives. 35 kilometers out, close-in defenses activated, small hyper-agile interceptors launching from all 5 ships, 13th through 19th missiles destroyed, 13 missiles remaining. 25 kilometers out, getting closer, getting faster. 20 kilometers out, the final defense layer activated. Phalanx systems, 6-barreled Gatling guns firing 4,500 rounds per minute. The sound was like the sky being ripped apart. Burr, burr, burr. 20th through 26th missiles shredded by cannon fire. 6 missiles broke through, 4 kilometers out, 12 seconds from impact. USS Shiloh's final interceptors fired at point-blank range. 27th through 31st missiles destroyed in rapid succession. 1 missile remained. 1 single Iranian weapon heading directly for Roosevelt's flight deck. 7 seconds from killing hundreds of sailors and dealing the U.S. Navy its worst loss in generations. 4,700 people held their breath. USS Port Royal's phalanx system engaged. The gun captain's hand was steady on the trigger. Final burst, 280 rounds in 2.7 seconds. The last Iranian missile disintegrated 650 meters from the carrier. Metal fragments splashed harmlessly into the Persian Gulf. All 32 missiles destroyed. 0 hits, 0 casualties. Roosevelt was untouched. Captain Chen's voice came through calm and cold. Threat neutralized. All missiles destroyed. Roosevelt is secure. Now we respond. Because while those missiles were still in flight, while Iranian commanders were watching their screens and praying for American deaths, U.S. Central Command had already authorized the counterstrike, not just against the 7 batteries that fired, against every Iranian military installation involved in the attack. 17 bases, total elimination. The retaliation began while debris from the last Iranian missile was still falling into the water. 112 Tomahawk cruise missiles launched from 4 American warships, vertical launch cells opening in sequence, missiles streaking toward the Iranian coast. Iran had fired 32 missiles. America was responding with over 300 weapons. The carrier they just tried to sink was now launching the planes that would obliterate their infrastructure.
USS Florida, an Ohio-class submarine positioned 60 miles offshore, fired 72 Tomahawks in an underwater launch. Missiles breaking surface, engines igniting. 2 U.S. Air Force B-1B Lancers orbiting over the Gulf of Oman received updated targeting. You are cleared hot. Eliminate all Iranian Revolutionary Guard facilities within 90 kilometers of the strait. Each bomber carried 48 precision-guided weapons. Electronic warfare aircraft reached the Iranian coast first. Active jamming commenced. Iranian air defense radars blinded. SAM systems unable to lock targets. Iran's defenses went dark before they even knew what was coming. The first wave of Tomahawks reached the Iranian coast 8 minutes after launch. The coastal missile batteries that had fired at Roosevelt, all 7 of them were struck simultaneously. Launch vehicles destroyed, command trailers obliterated, entire batteries eliminated. Within 75 seconds, 20 years of Iranian coastal defense construction was erased. Fighter jets fired anti-radiation missiles that homed on Iranian radar emissions like heat-seeking predators. 9 Iranian early warning radar stations along the coast exploded. Radar dishes shattered. Control buildings collapsed. Iran's eyes along the Strait of Hormuz went blind. The second wave of Tomahawks struck Iranian command bunkers. Revolutionary Guard Coastal Defense Command near Bandar Abbas, the headquarters that authorized the carrier attack, was hit by 11 Tomahawks. Bunker penetrated. The men who ordered the attack were buried under their own headquarters. Iranian ammunition storage facilities exploded in chain reactions. Massive fireballs visible from space. Seismic sensors in Bahrain registered the detonations. Thousands of anti-ship missiles destroyed in storage. Missiles that would never threaten another ship. The B-1B bombers reached their targets. 96 precision-guided bombs released. Bandar Abbas Revolutionary Guard Naval Facility, the main facility that coordinated the carrier attack, was hit with 22 bombs. Headquarters building flattened, barracks destroyed, pier facilities collapsed. 11 Revolutionary Guard patrol boats sunk at their moorings. Over the next minutes, Keshm Island Naval Facility, Larak Island Base, Abu Musa Installation, and Kish Island Military Complex were systematically struck and destroyed. The submarines' Tomahawks reached deeper inland targets. Revolutionary Guard command facilities coordinating Persian Gulf operations were struck. Intelligence centers monitoring naval movements were hit. Logistics hubs supplying coastal batteries were obliterated. Warehouses burned. Supply chains severed. At 3:19 p.m., the operation was complete. 32 minutes after Iran fired its first missile, the battle was over. Iran had fired 32 missiles. America had responded with 327 weapons. All 32 Iranian missiles destroyed. 0 damage to Roosevelt. 4,700 sailors safe. 17 Iranian military bases eliminated. 7 missile batteries obliterated. 9 radar stations destroyed. 5 command bunkers collapsed. 8 ammunition depots exploded. 1,476 Iranian casualties. Carrier strike group completed transit. Never slowed, never diverted. 32 minutes. That's what it cost Iran to learn that American carriers don't sink. They just mark the coordinates for what will.